this video is going to show you how to set up a recurring meeting on Zoom with each one of your class periods. So this will ensure that your period 1, your period 2, your period 3, all of it, they have the same meeting ID, the same password, and the same link for every meeting, ensuring consistency and really just making it simpler for you and the students. And the other nice part about this is if a student looks on their Google Calendar, your meeting will show up. So in theory, if all teachers are doing this, then the students will have will at any point be able to look at their Google Calendar and see exactly where they're supposed to be, and then click a link to take them there. So it should make everyone's lives easier if done correctly. So there is quite a few steps, so just stay with me. I will try not to take forever doing it. And we're first going to open up Google Chrome. And then what we actually need to do before anything is we need to download the Zoom G Suite extension. So what you're going to do is just, you can type it into Google here, you're going to type Zoom G Suite extension. And this is going to give us some more features to use on our Google Calendar. It's the first one at the top right there. Again, I'll go back to show you this one right here. You're going to click Zoom for G Suite. You're going to install this extension, which shouldn't take too long. And just go through all the permissions, log into your Google account. And then once that's done, what I learned today is it doesn't work just yet. You're going to have to actually close your Google Chrome and then open it back up. So now what you're going to do is you're going to open a Google Calendar. Let's go to Google Calendar. But before we get there, we're going to want to do a few other things very quick. So just open up a new tab, and you're going to want to go to your Zoom settings. So I'm just going to go to zoom.com. I'm going to sign in. And the reason I'm doing this is I want to make sure my settings are to my liking before I send out the calendar invites, because whatever my settings are, those are going to be the settings on all my calendar invites. So you just want to make sure you go through these settings, and you want to have the waiting room enabled. If you would like a passcode, which I'm going to leave on, you're going to want to put a passcode, and just make sure these settings look good to you. As long as you're happy with them, you can go ahead and leave this, and we can start to get our calendar invites set up. What we want to do is, before we set up the calendar invites, one more thing. We do want to make sure we have our Google Classroom set up. So you should have that Google Classroom page with the students before we go around sending calendar invites. So make sure, I'll be using my Bridging ELD first period for this one. So make sure you have the people, the students, already in your class at this point. So these students are populated in my Bridging ELD 7 class, and they're going to be the ones I invite for this Zoom meeting. So I'm going to pull up the PYLUSD return to school schedule. That way I have my times correct. And I'm going to go down here and find our middle school schedule, which is right here. So as we can see, I'm going to use first period as my example. That's going to be on Mondays and Wednesdays from 9 to 9:55. So what I'm going to do here is go to my calendar. The first day of school is this day, the 1st. And what I want to make sure I do is, choose the right day, be on the right area of the calendar. And then once I'm there, we're going to avoid this first day of school, because the first day of school, Tuesday the 1st, is actually the Friday schedule. So this first day of school schedule is a little weird. So we're going to just skip that one and start on this Wednesday right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new meeting. I'm going to go down here and click more options, and then I'm going to title this one. I'm going to call it Period 1 ELD. And this meeting is going to be on September 2nd, is going to be the first one, and it's going to run from 9 a.m. to 9:55 a.m. Again, on September 2nd, double check everything, looks good. What I want to make sure I do here is that I want to set this meeting to repeat. So I'm going to click this. I'm going to click that. I want custom settings for this. and every Monday and Wednesday are when I want this meeting, and I want them repeating every 1 week. So you can keep this the way it is and just click the other day you want here, or the days in which you want this meeting to be set up. I'm going to end it. These recurring meetings are going to stop on November 6th, and the reason I choose that date is because I watched a few videos on people in the district doing the same process, and they all kind of recommend choosing November 6th as the end date, because after that date there is the potential there is a chance we could be back in school after that date. So we'll just set it to right there. That way we don't have any meetings going on once we get back in school, carrying over from all this distance learning. So we'll set that occurring every 1 week. And then the extension we downloaded is for this feature right here, this add video conferencing feature. So I'm going to click this, and I'm going to click a Zoom meeting. And what this is going to do, it's going to create a Zoom, essentially a room for this period, just for this period. It's going to give it an ID, a password, and a link that the students can click so that they can join this meeting. And this will be the same ID and password for all of their meetings. Some of you might have to click login right here. So what I had to do is click login. It was right here where my arrow is before I could do this, and I just had to click a few buttons and essentially click OK, allow to get logged into Zoom. So there is a chance you have to click that. It would be right there, right where my mouse is. So just log in if you need to, and then after that, this should have the settings we enabled prior to doing this. So if I set a passcode before, there should be a passcode here. Again, make sure that all those settings are however you want them before we send out those invites, because they don't change. So everything else for this meeting looks good. I have notifications set up for it. It's going to be on my calendar. It's recurring how I want it. The last thing to do is add guests. So the way we're going to do this is we are going to look at our Google Classroom page, because we need this title right here. So this title of my Google Classroom page is Bridging ELD 7. So what I'm going to do here is type in Bridging ELD 7, and you'll see it's right there. This will invite these students to this meeting. And with all that done, it looks good to me, so I'm going to go ahead and click Save. And another important step here is we do not want to send these invitation emails to students, because if they receive them from every teacher, they will receive a ton of mail calendar invites. So we're going to click Don't Send. And even if we click Don't Send, it still appears on the student's calendar. So we don't need them to click yes or no on all these invitations. We're just not going to send the invitations, and it will still appear on their calendars. Click Don't Send. And after that, we should be good to go. So if I look on Wednesday the 2nd here, I have my period 1 ELD. It's going to show up as 2 for me, because I am the one who created the meeting, and it also invites me because I'm part of the Google Classroom. So I have two of the meetings on here. I do not believe it appears that way for the students. It appears as just one meeting for them, but since I am the teacher and part of the Google Classroom, I received 2 of them. So if we click the link, this is what the students will see. They can just click this to join the Zoom meeting. We can disable the passcode if we don't want a passcode. If I go down to the next week, Monday the 7th, it is Labor Day, so I probably cancel this one, but as you can see, it is recurring exactly how I want it. On Wednesday, it's on that day as well. So anything like this that's on a day where maybe we don't have a meeting at that time, you can cancel just this one. So I can go up here to Edit Event, go up here and click Delete. So I'm just going to delete just this event. And then it should come off here. There it is. Go to the next week, 14th, look, Monday and Wednesday, I have my meeting set up. And it really is that simple. So once that's set up, you will be good to go with recurring meetings. You are going to need to do this for each period individually. So I would need to do this for period 1 on Monday and Wednesday, period 3 on Monday and Wednesday, period 5 on Monday and Wednesday. So even these the check for understanding periods, you're going to need to set up separate times for those, and you'll also need to do it for Friday. So it is quite a bit of work at first, but the payoff is that after you set up all these recurring meetings, you never have to set up a room for Zoom again if you do it correctly. So with all that said, I hope that is somewhat helpful in having you set up these invitations and these Zoom meetings. If you have any other questions, feel free to let me know or ask me. Happy to help however I can, and I hope we got a little bit out of this at the very least. Thank you.